Nine of the government shutdown.
We are
not showing signs of stopping.
No, it isn't. And we here on Connecting America like to talk to real people who are really impacted by this, everyday Americans. Jill Hornick is one of them. She's a leader of the American Federation of Government Employees. She's also been working without pay for the Social Security Administration for 29 days now, 5 weeks. Let's connect with Jill now. Good morning. Thank you for being here. We know you're in the Chicago area. Tell us, first of all, the dollar amount on the most recent paycheck you got. What was it? Painful. I mean, I can't imagine what that feels like. So, talk to us about the emotions that come with working without pay for the Social Security Administration right now.
It's really traumatic. It's stressful. It's nerve-wracking. You end up with pits in your stomach. Sometimes, you feel nauseated because we don't know when this is going to end. And the uncertainty of not knowing when it's going to end just makes it that much harder because you can't plan. You don't know how to budget. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And then we avidly watch the news and we see vote after vote going down in flames, and it just makes the stress level go higher and higher. And unfortunately, people have health issues, pre-existing health issues, high blood pressure, things like that. So this stress is just making people's health problems even worse.
How has it impacted your day-to-day life and making credit card payments and things of that nature?
It means calling all of your creditors, seeing who is willing to defer things and who's not, and then budgeting and trying to figure out how to pay the things that, companies are not quite so willing to defer. Unfortunately, some utilities are more helpful than others. My cell phone company wants the cell phone bill still paid, even though they gave me a couple of extra days to pay it, but they still want it paid, which obviously we need a phone. People have animals, dogs, cats, birds, so they still need veterinarian care. Children still need medical appointments when they get sick. So it's made it extremely difficult to know what you can and cannot pay for. And what's even worse is because of the zero paycheck. Well, first we lost 3 days of pay, then the zero paycheck. So people are running out of money at Social Security. And something is different this time. I've been a veteran of shutdown since 1994, 95. Social Security employees always banded together, supported each other. You were no longer management versus employee. Everybody was in this together and everybody helped each other. But this time it's different. We have a situation going on in Social Security, which is incredibly dire. So as employees are running out of money, SSA can function. The majority of the agency can function using telework. So logically, one thing that you thought would have happened with a compassionate agency is that the employees who can telework, the agency would have immediately put them on telework so that they can conserve money. No, that did not happen. They're forcing employees to come into the office. And now employees are running out of money.
And why is that, Jill? Just help us explain who's forcing you to go into the office.
So it gets very interesting as you go up the layers of management. So local management says it's not their decision. They said it's their management. So for one area where we're having particular problems is the employees who answer the 800 number. So the person who runs the 800 number for Social Security nationwide is Tiffany Countess. She's basically saying it's not her decision, that Eddie Taylor, the person who runs labor relations, is the person. But Eddie Taylor's not the head of the agency. The commissioner is the head of the agency. So logically, it would be the commissioner of Social Security who is making the decision on what employees can telework or cannot telework. I did try to reach out to the commissioner to have a conversation, was not able to reach him. But ultimately, the buck stops with the commissioner. So employees are not allowed to telework. They're running out of money. They're requesting to be put on furlough status so that they can stay home because they don't have the money to come into work. They're being denied furlough status, and they're being threatened with and charged with AWOL, which is a potential disciplinary action. So not only do you have the trauma of no pay, and how do you pay your bills? How do you feed your kids? How do you, we've even had landlords say they won't accept the creditor letter. So employees are worried about being potentially evicted. And then on top of that, you have an agency which should be compassionate, adding to the trauma by making it worse by refusing to let employees telework and threatening them with discipline. I've never seen anything like
Jill,
this.
I mean, if the commissioner, Frank Bisignano, is listening right now, what would you have said to him if he had picked up the phone?
That one should do to others as you would have done upon yourself. I would hope if his children worked for Social Security, he would show compassion and allow them to telework for those departments that can telework, and not add to the trauma that he's exposing them to, because it's heartbreaking to see employees say, I don't know what to do. And as a union, we can refer them to loan programs. Unfortunately, Social Security employees cannot file for unemployment because they're working. All we can do is refer them to loan programs, food pantries, township general assistance, but there's only so much we can do. And a lot of this could be solved by the commissioner showing compassion and allowing employees to telework, those employees who don't deal face-to-face with the public, and certainly not threatening them and charging them with AWOL and threatening to discipline them because they don't have the money to come to work. It's unconscionable that an agency that is supposed to take care of the most vulnerable segments of our society is doing this to their employees. And it makes you wonder, if this is the kind of attitude that is being displayed towards employees, how can you trust the Social Security Administration to take care of Social Security beneficiaries and to do right by them? Because a leopard doesn't change their spots.
And you mentioned people feeling desperate that you've talked to. Are you actually seeing some of your colleagues going to food banks to try to put food on the table? Are we at that point with people you know?
Oh, yes. And actually, yesterday we were working on creating food banks specifically for our federal agencies. AFGE was working yesterday on creating food banks for Illinois, and working with the AFL-CIO and the Chicago Federation of Labor on how we can create food banks for employees.
Before we go,
TSA actually did a food bank yesterday for their.
We're very sorry. Before you go, how long do you think this will last? What's your plea to Democrats, Republicans, and to the president?
My plea is to please pass a clean CR, let the employees get back to work. Because again, the work is piling up. There's a great deal of work that is not allowed to be done during a shutdown. Trying to clean it up after the shutdown ends is going to be horrendous.
Jill Hornick, thank you for shedding even more light on exactly what you and your colleagues are going through. She brought up the health impacts, the stress that this is bringing upon people. You don't really think about that. It could, be prompting people to need to go, see a doctor because of the residual stress.
Allison brought up the Social Security Commissioner, who is a political appointee, and Allison, is just baffling that you're making people work without pay and then commute and go in the hole to do so. Why would be a very fair question to frame.
I mean, I'm tempted. I could get this segment to Frank Bisignano quite easily, the commissioner, and I'm tempted to send him this so that he understands the real world impact, but I don't want Jill to be punished. I mean, what it sounded like she was saying was that there seem to be policies in place right now that are punitive instead of compassionate.
We should invite him on the program.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow.
That's a good idea.
Maybe you can reach out without sending him the actual portions of the interview and just share generally what we're hearing.
Okay.
Let's
do that.
That was a revelation.